Canada drops tech tax to restart US trade talks. Canada will rescind a tax on big US technology firms just hours before first payments were due to allow trade talks between the two countries to restart. On Friday, US President Donald Trump called off negotiations over a trade deal, describing the tax as a blatant attack, and threatened higher tariffs on imports from Canada. In response, Canada has said it will introduce legislation to remove the tax and would halt the collection of payments which were due on Monday. White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett told Fox News on Monday that negotiations between the North American neighbors would absolutely restart as a result. The Digital Services Tax, DST, would have meant US tech giants including Amazon, Meta, Google and Apple faced a 3% charge on Canadian revenue above $20 million. Canada's Finance Minister François-Philippe Champagne issued a statement saying the tax would be rescinded. The DST was announced in 2020 to address the fact that many large technology companies operating in Canada may not otherwise pay tax on revenues generated from Canadians. It said, Canada's preference has always been a multilateral agreement related to digital services taxation, the statement added. Many countries, including the UK, are changing how they tax large multinational technology firms, which have millions of customers and advertisers around the world, but low corporation tax bills due to the way their businesses are structured. It was estimated that Canada's tax would cost the tech giants more than $2 billion, $1.5 billion, £1.06 billion in its first year as the tax was being applied retroactively to January 2022. Last year's federal budget estimated the tax would bring in $5.9 billion in total over the next 5 years. Trump, who has forged a close relationship with tech company owners in his second term in office, has pushed back against such taxes. He described Canada's policy as egregious, adding, "Economically, we have such power over Canada." In a social media post on Monday, US Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick thanked Canada for removing the tax, saying it would have been a deal breaker for any trade deal with America. 3/4 of Canada's goods exports go to the US, worth more than $400 billion a year, while Canada takes just 17% of US production. In a statement, the American Chamber of Commerce hailed the move to rescind the tax. This is a constructive decision that allows both countries to focus on strengthening their economic partnership, said Chamber President Rick Tachuk. Canada's climb down comes after a roller coaster few months for US-Canada relations. Shortly after taking office, Trump threatened to impose sweeping new tariffs and even to annex the US's northern neighbor. The antagonism helped propel Canada's Liberal Party, led by former central banker Mark Carney, back into power. Since then,